Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. Leave a like if you can, it helps out the channel a lot. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. It says TA, Ethereum bullish despite recent chop. What could propel it to $1,700 US? I think a movement by the stock market would definitely be it. There are a couple of coins that are floating around that are touting updates and upgrades, especially within the next 10 to 15 or so days, which we're also going to be talking about. But none of the market, cryptocurrency market, seems to be moving on its own, except for a random few assortment of coins that basically have lower trade volumes, and it's a lot easier to actually move them around. It says Ripple price analysis, risk of a drop below 30 cents. Sure, everything has a risk right now of moving lower and or potentially moving up. It basically depends on where the world's markets are actually going. It says rounding bottom pattern sets Mana, that is Decentraland, I believe, for a potential upswing of 10.5%. Not sure where they got those numbers from. I usually love going through the articles or reading the articles a lot of times where they're like, this coin is poised for a 47% movement upward. And it's like, you're just making up numbers at this point, because that's actually, gosh darn well, that coin is not about to move up. 10.5% is a very exact number. Like, what happens if it goes up by 9.4%? The numbers are not correct. Anyway, being cynical. This one says Bitcoin and Ethereum try to recover. Sand and Link accelerate. For some reason, a few metaverse coins were in the news. Rather, their price news was in the news. There was nothing specific about them over the weekend that I could find, or even in the last couple of hours that would have put them in the news or made their prices go higher. Maybe it's just generalized hype behind the scenes. You remember before, this used to happen years ago, even more frequently. Whenever XRP would go up, Lumens would do the exact same thing. It's kind of like a mimic in some sort of way of a movement in price. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you all know where this one is going. Indian stock markets, or the stock market in India and many other places in Asia, they're actually up right now. I think just based off of general momentum, a lot of the news that they were expecting before when it came to, inflation numbers within the U.S., also jobless numbers and all these other things. It's once again very weird that everyone bases their economies off of what one other place is doing. It doesn't really fit into my brain space. However, this was also quite in the news, everywhere news. It says explicitly, European markets are set to fall at their open as investors weigh economic risks. European markets are headed for a sharp fall at the open on Monday as investors ponder economic risks within the region. European stocks advanced on Friday to round out a bruising week as investors reacted to a key U.S. job report, which showed the American economy added 315,000 jobs in August. People were expecting 318,000, so sure, relatively close. While the unemployment rate rose to 3.7%, higher than the expected 3.5. I'm pretty sure that there are over 1 billion people in Europe. It's kind of weird that European market would fall based on US numbers or metrics and not their own. But sure, why not? For some reason, also quite heavily in the news today. And I think it's just because of whatever. Italy, as far as I can tell, is getting ready for elections. And there were a lot of news floating around apparently about the strength of their economy, which isn't great, hasn't been great for a long time. It's Italy, Spain, and Greece have been kind of the, I almost said the bad boys, the not so good with money boys regions for as long as I can actually remember. And with these elections coming up, they're telling people to prioritize the economic situation over many other things, because it looks like they could also completely teeter and fall off. And if they fall off, the rest of the economy within the European Union will also feel the aftershocks of said thing, as also we've been dealing with the economic numbers of those countries as well. Not so much with like jobless numbers. A lot of times for Europe, it tends to just specifically be that we get news from how their stock markets are reacting, but nothing like actually focused. But this time there was a lot of news specifically about Italy and how this week might be quite rough for them and therefore rough for the European stock markets. And as far as I can tell, I believe that U.S. stock markets are closed today for Labor Day. I believe that is what it is. So not an enormous amount of price news. Once again, all the cryptocurrency websites that were talking about prices, they kind of just wrote anything because they don't actually understand or know where the market is going to go, which is always very important to remember. Always keep that in your head. No one knows where prices are going to go. If they did, they probably wouldn't tell you, and they would also be 100 millionaires and or billionaires. You don't, give explicit news. Anyway, the point is, sure. So we'll see exactly where the rest of this week takes us. I'm still very shocked that we haven't seen any major movements in our market, like just by itself in general. I know that we are considered to be in a bear market, but that's also because the stock market is in bearish territory. So a lot of the discussion floating around right now is that we're kind of in this lull period within the cryptocurrency market. But that's also like air quotes kind of a lie. Simply because if the stock market was roaring up, we would also be roaring up and there would be no discussions of a bear market. So ours is only forced onto us by another market that got out of control. Yeah, that's all the price news, at least for right now. And yeah, let's move on. Also, this is, as you might have imagined, part of this is everywhere news. A lot of news about the Ethereum merge continues. We are less than 10 days. There are now estimates that we might actually see the merge even before the 15th, depending on how many blocks are produced by the network. In a tweet on Monday, Wu Blockchain reported that over 94,000 Ether was staked on September 1st, the highest number staked in a single day since May. A look at OKLink data puts the figure at 94,997 Ether at an average price of $1,500. The amount of ETH on Ethereum's 2.0 staking contract has now surged to around 13.5 million ETH. There's a lot of staking news. There's a lot of money news. There's a lot of how much is being put into Ethereum. There's a lot of what is going to happen on the 16th. There's a lot of will we see a price movement? This is a sell the news kind of event. Should I be buying? There's a lot of billionaires who are commenting. I don't have it in this video because I could actually care less what they have to say. Talking about this is not a sell the news thing. You should be buying Ethereum. And then on the other side, you have people saying, no, I think investors won't really be paying attention until we actually get proper metrics a couple of months down the line. Somewhere around January, people will realize exactly how scarce Ethereum is or how it is and therefore prices will move up. So it's kind of the ball's in anyone's court. I am once again still quite shocked that Ethereum hasn't moved at all on its own whim. It moved a couple of days ago, but that was also coinciding with a slight movement up in the stock market before we had indications that the Fed is continuing thinking about raising interest rates when they were talking at the Jackson Hole event. And now everything is kind of basically just going sideways. This is like actually the largest event that we've had in the crypto space for a very long time. But yeah, I guess even the stock market has a complete hold on us. It's very, very weird to be in a market that doesn't move on its own anymore. I've been in crypto for so long, any type of slight news that we would get, I've gone over this 1,000 times. We'll move on. But the point is, before, if you got any news that Ethereum was being adopted or being used or a huge portion of the amount of Ether out there was locked away, your price would move up. But I guess those days are long gone for every single coin until we see the stock market moving up again. Yeah, this was part of the all over the place news. People are counting down on Twitter, counting down in the news. We're going to get something eventually that says 5 days away, but I don't think the price will actually be moving. I was discussing that with a good friend of mine. Hello, friend. I know he watches quite often. As far as like movements and stuff like that, I think for whatever reason, we won't move until the stock market actually moves. So even sometimes I'm kind of expecting prices to continue moving lower, even for Ethereum, even for every other chain as well. I don't care what coin has an upgrade coming, because we need to fix that internally ourselves within our own market before we can actually move forward. Because imagine if the entirety of the cryptocurrency market is just reliant on what the stock market does forever. Even a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space, like just paying attention to what stocks do and then selling off, as opposed to realizing that these are actual, like these are their own networks. These are their own monetary systems, if you will, as well. So, yep, 10 days away. I'm expecting prices to fall. Once again, not financial advice. Don't follow what I'm saying. But if it hasn't moved yet, I don't think it's going to. Yeah, that's Ethereum merge 10 days away news. Let's move on. This was one of the most popular news stories of the day, and I'm going to try and be as centered as possible. I know I'm going to fall off easily. But here we go. So Solana is quite heavily in the news today. Network outages continue to be the Solana network's biggest challenge. This is according to its co-founder, Anatoly Yakovenko. Launched in 2020, the Solana network has suffered a number of network outages, which have come from a number of different congestion and spam events, according to Yakovenko. He basically announced that the reason, I'm not kidding, the reason for the outages and the 51% attacks and the other events that they had going on was because the network is too awesome. I'm not joking. In a 2nd of September interview with Real Vision co-founder Raoul Pal, Yakovenko said the network outages had been Solana's curse, but said the outages have resulted because of the network's low transaction costs. He said, that's been, I guess, our curse, but it's because the network is so cheap and fast that there are enough users and applications that are driving that. His main idea is that we offer so many transactions per second, and our blockchain is faster and quicker and cheaper than other ones that people keep using it, and therefore that's why it keeps crashing. For those of you who are wondering, there were 7 official crashes or halts this year alone. And then I think there were 2 other events for, I don't know, I think one was DeFi something and one was something or other. However, while the outages have prevented users from using the network, the Solana CEO said also decentralized blockchain should not have a CEO. I know only 3 of you care, and I mean not 3%, like literally only 3 of you. But for future reference, if you haven't been here since 2017, you've heard me say that a lot of times. You are not supposed to have a figurehead for your coin. And this is also part of the issue with Ethereum. If Vitalik Buterin sneezes too hard, the price actually moves. He's mentioned before that he plans on like leaving the Ethereum project for something else or simply just stepping away from it, because you can't have decentralization with a centralized source. Just saying. Said that the network itself hadn't been compromised. He also argued that each blockchain is built differently and had their own failure clause. He basically, here's the best part. Once again, I'm trying to be as centered as possible. For example, Yakovenko noted that when the Bitcoin network's block production halted for 2 hours in the past, it was still considered normal. For those of you who weren't there, this was around 2012. This isn't like something that happened last week or something that happened a couple of months ago or like 2 or 3 years ago. In the very early stages, there are books about it. There are multiple books about it. In the early days of Bitcoin, they didn't really know what they were doing. The people who had, if you will, control over the code, which was a company called Blockstream, they basically said that there were so many faults in the network and they didn't really understand what was going on. So a lot of times other developers around the world would be reading the code and go, hey, there's a problem right here. And they had to fix it quite quickly. And there were a couple of instances where they were thinking about doing upgrades and they actually had to revert them like really, really fast because people would have been able to exploit the code or do something else, what have you. So the Bitcoin slowing down for 2 hours isn't something recent. The news is This was quite popular news, as you might have imagined. Anytime that anything with Solana comes up, people go completely crazy for it. I am now completely convinced that this is a corporation coin. You cannot have a CEO. And I don't know if you understand what I mean by a corporation coin. It means that this chain was created exclusively for corporations and big companies to promote and to use, to talk about that they are now decentralized because they use a coin that everyone else is using or around the world can also access their network, and therefore decentralization, right? 7 identified problems and 2 other ones. That's 9. That's more than that. That's just around 1 per month as we have just entered September. Only time will tell. I am not an oracle. I cannot say which coins will definitely make it, but I told you all before for many other coins that do not exist anymore. 9 problems in 1 year is a gigantic red flag. If Bitcoin had 9 outages, I'd be like, hey, maybe we should be looking for something else. If Ethereum had 9 outages, also. If Cardano had 9, listen. So the point is, not joking once again, the Solana founder stated that the reason for the outages is that the network is too awesome. And it has so many transactions that sometimes they get clogged up. And that's because of how amazing the network is. I'm not kidding either. Like that's basically what happened. Yeah. So people will continue to stay in that project, and I wish them all the best of luck. Hey, look at me. All right. Let's move on. Also in, I guess, country news, I'm not really sure. The Nigerian government has held a preliminary meeting with Binance to potentially establish a special economic zone aimed at supporting crypto and blockchain-related businesses. According to a 2nd of September post from the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority, or ZEPZA, the authority has held preliminary talks with Binance and technology infrastructure company Talent City to discuss the proposed digital city referred to as a virtual free zone. So this was major news a couple of years ago in a number of other countries. There's one in South Korea, there's one in Dubai, and a bunch of other places. Basically, countries that are relatively hesitant with the adoption of cryptocurrencies first announced that they are going to be making something called a sandbox, a digital, virtual, whatever, something sandbox. Basically, the idea is it's something that's in the government's backyard, air quotes, where they can oversee everything that's happening development-wise within the cryptocurrency space within their border, so that they can understand and kind of gain control of it, or mentally gain control of it a little bit more, as opposed to being like, oh, this is located in New York and Vancouver and South Africa, and it's like, oh, it's not in Nigeria. Now it's actually in Nigeria. So I was quite shocked that this was also very popular news. A lot of times we don't get news like this being popular, like actual building news. Usually it's very like hypey, weird, crazy things happening within the space. You've seen the other YouTube channels. You know how they tend to talk. This also, I guess, would tie into Binance's everywhere news. I'm sure, and it's really funny. I'm not going to go through all of them, all my old videos, but like, I wish I had compiled a list so that I could show all of you at the end of the year just how many countries and companies Binance has been talking to and is now working with to build things within the country. Because I think when you hear it on a Monday and you go, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. By Tuesday, you've kind of forgotten the news. But Binance has been talking to about 50 different countries this year. They're now working with these countries to build infrastructure in their country. And I can only assume they're also like going to be housing nodes and stuff like that as well. I'm sure there's some type of cooperation behind the scenes when it comes to like, you know, having or building or something with Binance. Anyway, the point is, and for complete clarity, because I hear you. I know there's someone out there who was like, well, Binance Coin has a CEO. Yeah, but Binance Coin never made it clear that they were like hyper decentralized. Like, we knew that it's a centralized coin from the get-go. They have different nodes around the world, but Binance is a company that has, like, they're an actual company that said that they were a company from the get-go. There's so many other coins and projects that keep coming out They're talking about they're the most decentralized things on the planet. And they're not. I don't know how to clarify that anymore. But once again, I know that people don't care. Like, I know that people actually don't care, because the main thing is that they want to make money regardless of if governments continue to control us or not. Because the entire idea that we have an actual network and system across multiple coins and blockchains that could free us from the old system today if we wanted to, and still 99% of people on the planet don't care, just kind of tells me where the future is going to go. Anyway, that's the Binance is working with the Nigerian government. They made their own sandbox. We always hear about these things like a couple of months later if they were successful. I think all of the ones thus far have been. None of them have broken down. None of the governments have kicked people out, if you will, to say, no, this isn't working. Please get away from us. Because I'm pretty sure the governments realize that there's money to be made. And this is kind of the doorway open for them. Yeah. That's the Nigeria news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in news I missed, but not really, I guess, sure, why not? Developers at Input Output and the Cardano Foundation announced that Cardano's Vasil hard fork will occur on the 22nd of September. Just 1 week after the Ethereum merge's anticipated date of the 15th of September. Sure, I told you that was going to happen, but... Oh, also for everyone who got their underwear in a bunch a couple of days ago, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for the people who know me and have been watching the channel for a while and were able to vocally... textily lash back at these people, because so many people for some reason don't understand the fact that I can talk negatively about a coin that I own. I don't understand how that doesn't work for a lot of people. Just because I own something doesn't mean I also can't slam it down and talk about that they're taking too long or that there are problems. I'm investing in these coins because I believe at some point the hype will get so big that the price will rise that I can make a lot of money. Fairly simple to understand. If a project is 6 years late on doing something like Ethereum, I'm going to talk bad about them. It shouldn't take you 6 years. If Cardano keeps releasing upgrades every single time that we're expecting a movement up in price, I'm going to talk bad about them. It's kind of weird. Why do you keep doing that over and over? Where are the upgrades? Give us the stuff that you were talking about a couple of years ago. I've been buying ADA for a very long time. I started buying Cardano when it was 1 cent. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. So a lot of the people who were lashing out before saying that I shouldn't be saying bad things about Cardano because it's such a great project. No, I'm going to keep doing that. If they do something ridiculous, I'm going to talk about it. I'm not, almost said Mr. Rogers. Yeah, I actually am not Mr. Rogers. Like, go find some other channel that makes you happy, that continues to lie to you and like pump up all these other coins to you. Remember, I will never forget that. I was telling my friend that the other day. Do you remember that YouTube channel? It was these 3 guys. They were like between 19 and 22. I don't know how old they were. And they were like standing in front of a, not a chalkboard. What's the other thing? Like the board that you can like write with markers on and that kind of erase it out. I don't know what that thing is called. I remember my teachers using it and I was like, wow, it's magic. They were writing on that thing like, this coin is going to be pumping today. They were standing in front of like 2 expensive sports cars. The entire point of their channel was to tell people that they just bought a coin. That coin is going to go up, air quotes, and then telling their millions of subscribers to buy that coin. Can you imagine? Was it my channel or their channel that was more popular? It was theirs. You're correct. They were telling people to buy something that they had announced that they had already purchased and that this coin was going to go up. It was, of course, a self-fulfilling prophecy because they were telling millions of people that the coin was going to go up. The coin would go up, they would cash out, everybody else would be left with the coin. And then eventually when the last bear market happened, their channel disappeared. What? That's crazy. They were only in it for the money. I can't believe that. That's just absolutely wild. Anyway, the news is we now have an official date. As it stands right now for the Vasil hard fork, it is the 22nd of September. I assume it's going to be similar to Ethereum. If there are more blocks produced, the network update may happen a little bit before. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about this. Of course, the Cardano community is one of the most vocal communities that there are out there. It's the XRP community, the Solana community, Cardano, Shiba Inu's rising. But people who are into Shiba Inu aren't that extreme. Like, they love the coin, but they're not like, I would go to battle for you with a shield like XRP and Cardano are. Like, it gets pretty intense sometimes when you see some of the conversations these people are having on the internet. Anyway, yeah, I think that those are the 3.5 coins that are like have really intense communities, and I don't include the Bitcoin maximalists because they're on the top of their own castle hill. They think that Bitcoin is the only coin, so that's a whole nother league in and of itself. Yeah, we have an official date for the hard fork. It is the 22nd of September. Charles Hoskinson was also recently in the news as well, discussing the upgrade and the update and what he's expecting for Cardano in 2023. I think it says it somewhere around here. He said, Vasil is the most significant Cardano upgrade to date, bringing increased network capacity and lower transaction costs. And the upgrade will also bring enhancements to Plutus to enable devs to create more powerful and efficient blockchain-based applications. Where's the other thing? I think it's right here. He said, this is one of the long ones, probably the hardest update we've ever had to do as an ecosystem. If we've all done our jobs right, we're going to wake up on the 22nd of September, and it will be just another day. That's the magic and power of the Cardano ecosystem. Moving forward, there's going to be a big retrospective on how we do things better. There's also going to be a deep conversation about the overall architecture of Cardano as it is and how we take it to the next level to make it more useful, portable, scalable, and better for everybody. A lot of Cardano improvement proposals are coming. Some of the proposals are related to Voltaire and governance. Some CIPs, the improvement proposals, related to Basho and scalability, and there's also a lot of cleanup that needs to be done as we hand it over from one steward role to a members-based organization, and then participate with you guys in that capacity. So that's what 2023 is about. The problem for me with it's not just Cardano. A lot of these projects is like they kind of just throw in words, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from that. I read Basho and scalability, and then a handover, and then more portable and safe. Are we getting Cardano computers? Like, what's the Voltaire governance? So anyway, if you understood that, you're a genius. That's what is happening for Cardano in 2023. I assume it's just another in-between year. A lot of building. The market will maybe, it depends on what the Fed does, maybe down. And then it's a really good time for people to not pay attention to your project, for you to start building in the background. So then when the market does go up, you can say, look at those 95 things that we did while nobody else was paying attention. Yeah. So that's Cardano in 2023. We have explicit news of the date. It is 17 days away. Let's see if that price also ends up moving up or something else. Quite shocking, right? If you've been here for a while, you know that the market tends to, like, just on hype alone, the market will really begin to rally and rumble up. But the market doesn't seem to be doing that. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in popular news today that we're not even going to go over. It was simply popular. It says owner of Mercado Bitcoin, 2TM, undergoes a second round of layoffs. I don't know why this would have made news or why this would have been so popular. It's a cryptocurrency company that announced that they're laying off more people. So, like, I get the Binance Nigeria. I kind of understand the Solana's too awesome, this is why we had problems news. I get the Cardano upgrade news, but why would there be popular news about a company who's having layoffs? This was also quite popular, and I don't know, I went through it and I was trying to figure out, like, maybe it affected Bitcoin in some way. Maybe they were, no, nothing. Also not there. And also, this was also in the news. It says the Thai SEC toughens crypto ad regulations amid a broader market downturn. Yeah, they're doing that because they're copying every other country that's out there. All the countries keep doing the exact same thing. The first country to really care about cryptocurrency ads, because they realized that it brought people into the market, was the US, when I think it was Google and Facebook had to start like cutting down ads. Remember, like, for those of you who weren't here, there was like an ad ban in 2017, 18, and 19 across many of these platforms. And then the market rallied. The market rallied the day that Facebook said that you were allowed to have crypto ads on their platform again. And then the UK started something last year or the year before that where they were like, no, you can't have crypto ads because it's very misleading to people. And I was like, well, so's the idea of a hugging family inside of a bank talking about, yeah, take out that mortgage, be in debt for the next 40 years. You'll still be happy. That's also quite misleading, but there's no proper regulation on those. So yeah, cool. There's new SEC regulations in Thailand on crypto ads. Whoa, that's crazy. I wasn't expecting regulation from regulators. That's kind of wild. Yeah, see? Usually very stupid news going on. But that's just the cryptocurrency space. That's just how it is. All right. Let's move on. Yeah. Hold on. Whoa. There we go. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. GBU Wally, Manny Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and let's move on, Empire Queen, Roman Geba, Bitcoin, Ben Arachno, Dave, Tony, and Brodsky, the Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lay, Mo Barazi, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolet, Lauren De Silva, Quarter Biddy, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Paxis, Nick Mangialavodi, Jim Garner, Jimmy Fox, Minting Coin, Just a Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Intimism, Whoa, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monks, Quarter Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, and Crayola and Michelle URL. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel, who clicked the little join button below, everyone who has left a like, a comment, or has subscribed. I do thank thee. At the moment, Bitcoin is at 19,733 US dollars. It is up by 0.3%. So it's like down, up. You see, like, it's been moving down, but it's still officially up. Ethereum is up by 0.92 percentile points as well, all over the place. Not sure what's going on. Every other coin's in red. Solana's up by, Solana's up by 1%, you know. Polkadot is up by 3%. Ethereum Classic is up by 0.5%. OKB, Chainlink is up by 4.8%. Sure, why not? Monero is up by 1.6 percentile points as well. Luna Classic is the top winner, I believe, is up by 4.22%. Luna Classic is going up because of the coin burn and also the new staking thing that upgraded or happened or something is taking place. I think Luna Classic is going to be the new Cardano XRP Solana, as far as like the community is quite intense about their desire for the coin to go back up to $1. Yes, sure. That's exactly, those are the words I wanted to use. Internet Computer is up by 2.6% as well. Sandbox is up by 2.5. Nothing else too crazy. Yeah, that's the top 50. Right. I do hope that you've all had a great weekend. Hope you all have a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's incredible. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. Ciao.